So now we've seen that the trend where we're going from the original area to one that is scaled up by a factor of 2. It's the original area multiplied by 2 squared if the scale factor is 2. But if we're going from the original area to an increased area, we would get that the new scale factor is the original area multiplied by 3 squared. So here we had R, the original area A1, multiplied by 2 squared gave us A2. And for A3, we had the original area A1 multiplied by 3 squared. So what happens then if we are doing a scale down reduction? What would we expect to happen? Well, we know that the area will be the length times the breadth, and the length is 4 times a half, and the breadth is 2 times a half. If we isolate our 8 centimetres, which we're trying to get because that's what we had as our original area, 4 times 2 is 8, and we get a half squared. Well, what is a half squared? Well, a half, all squared, can be thought of as 1 squared divided by 2 squared. It's squaring everything that's inside the bracket. 1 times 1 is 1 squared, and that's just 1, divided by 2 times 2, and that's 4. So when we make a square of a fraction, we get 8 times square the top, square the bottom, and in this case we got a quarter. So our original area divided by, multiplied by a half squared. So the trend here is, so in this case it would just be 8 times a quarter, which is 8 divided by 4, which gives us an area of 2 centimetres squared. So our A to the half, the scale would be 2 centimetres squared. And what we're doing here then is we're going from our original A1 and multiplying it by the scale that we're taking, a half squared. So a half squared is a quarter. And this is a very important concept in maths, to understand the difference with what happens with perimeter from a scale. It's really easy. If the scale is doubled, the perimeter ends up being doubled. If the scale is tripled, the perimeter ends up being tripled, what the original was. And if the scale is halved, the perimeter ends up being halved. Whereas when it comes to area, if the scale is doubled, the perimeter ends up being 2 squared, which is 4 times the area. And if the scale is tripled, the area ends up being the original area times 3 squared, giving you 9 times the original area. And if the area is halved, you get the original area times a half squared, which would be a quarter of the original area. And this is how we can work with scales and dimensioning in this way.